An 80-year-old woman walks into an elite restaurant wearing old, patched clothes. The wealthy customers humiliate her, call her a beggar, and demand that she be thrown out. But what happens when the owner discovers who she really is will give you chills. Stay with me, because this story will touch your heart and change the way you see people. It was a rainy night when Miranda, an 80-year-old lady, slowly walked down the city's main avenue. Her clothes were simple, her coat carefully mended, and she held a piece of paper in her trembling hands. Picture the scene: raindrops sliding down her wrinkled face, worn-out boots barely holding together, yet a determined light in her eyes. She stopped from time to time, looked at the paper, then at the house numbers. Finally found it, she sighed with relief. Miranda stood in front of the most elegant restaurant in town. Luxury cars parked at the entrance, people dressed in clothes that cost more than most people's rent. But she didn't feel intimidated. She pushed open the heavy glass door and walked in. The hostess, a young woman named Milena, who had just been smiling politely at other guests, wrinkled her nose when she saw Miranda. "You must be at the wrong address," she said sharply. "Please leave immediately, or I'll have to call security." But Miranda remained calm. "Dear, I'm not leaving. I made a reservation in advance and I have money." Can you feel the tension in the air? The hostess couldn't believe what she was hearing. Richard, the security guard, rushed over when Milena called him. He looked Miranda up and down with disdain. "Show me your reservation," he said in a harsh tone. Miranda carefully took a document from the inner pocket of her coat. Her hands trembled slightly, not from fear, but from emotion. "Miranda, 80 years old," Richard read aloud, surprised. He called to confirm, and to everyone's shock, the reservation existed and was fully paid for. "But listen," the guard said. "This is a high-end restaurant. Only wealthy and respectable people come here. We don't want you here." Imagine how Miranda must have felt at that moment. A lifetime of dignity tossed aside because of her appearance. But she had a mission. "I didn't come here to eat," she said. "I need to see the owner." The situation got even worse when she climbed the stairs to the main dining room. The rich guests, drunk on wine and power, began pointing and laughing. "What is this? This isn't a homeless shelter." "Hey, Grandma, isn't it a bit late to be out? At your age, shouldn't you be resting permanently?" "I'm allergic to the smell of people from the streets." The laughter echoed through the hall. Miranda closed her eyes, horrified. She had never been so humiliated in her life. Then the door opened and a tall, elegant man walked in. It was Scott, the owner of the restaurant. He was nearly 60, successful, respected. Miranda looked at him and whispered through her tears, "Scott, my dear, you've grown, matured. You look so much like your father." But Scott walked right past her, more concerned about calming his wealthy clients. "Get her out of here," they shouted. "Don't embarrass us and ruin our night." Scott turned to Miranda. "Come with me," he said, and led her out of the dining room. "Look," he said, counting money. "Here's double what you paid. Buy something for yourself and leave." That's when Miranda said the words that changed everything. "Scott, I'm not taking your money. Please, let me stay and talk to you. I'm not a stranger. I'm your mother." The silence was deafening. "That's impossible. My mother died years ago," Scott shouted. But Miranda pulled a faded photograph from her pocket. Scott at 6 years old. Scott froze. It was the exact same photo he once had, but had lost years before. With tears in her eyes, Miranda told the whole truth. "Son, when you were 6, I discovered I had a severe heart condition. The doctor said I needed urgent surgery and that my chances of survival were very low. I had no one to take care of you. Your uncles refused, so I placed you in an orphanage, thinking it would only be temporary, just until I recovered." Her voice broke. "The surgery was a success, but when I came back a month later, you had already been adopted. The director refused to give me your new family's address. I've spent 54 years looking for you." Scott stayed silent, for a long time, processing everything. All the memories of abandonment, all the pain, but also the sincerity in that frail woman's eyes. "How did you find me?" he finally asked. "A friend who works in a charity helped me. When I learned you owned a restaurant, I saved for months from my pension just to come here and see you. Dot. 3 days later, Scott appeared at the door of Miranda's small, rented room. "Come with me," he said with a smile. "I want you to meet my wife and your 3 grandchildren. And I have a little apartment where you'll live from now on." The happiness Miranda felt at that moment was like the warm summer sun after years of winter. Sometimes, love finds a way to heal even the deepest wounds. If this story touched your heart, leave a like below and tell me in the comments. Have you ever been judged by your appearance? How did you react? Subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell because every week I bring you real stories that make you reflect on life. See you next time.